We are back because the extremist policies of Governor McCrory, Phil Berger, Tim Moore, that were begun under Tom Tillis are still being used as a battering ram against the dignity of everyday North Carolinians. If you believe that, turn to your neighbor and say, that's right. We are back because instead of putting us on a journey toward the common good, they have put us on a path towards serving the greedy and creating a budgetary and economic catastrophe for our once more progressive state. You believe that? Turn to the other neighbor and say, that's right. Instead of listening to our Constitution, they are listening to the call of bigotry and bad policy. Turn to the one behind you if you agree with that and say, that's right. That's right. Instead of following the values of the good book, the Bible, they have succumbed to the enticement of ALEC, the Tea Party, corporate money, and narrow regression. Touch yourself and say, I know that's right. Instead of protecting voting rights and raising the minimum wage to a living wage and ensuring Medicaid expansion and properly funding public education, they have over and over and over and over again promoted policies that are immoral, extreme, unconstitutional, wrong-headed, unjust, mean, and if I was sure enough in church, just plain sinful. Can I get an amen?
We shall not be moved. Tell Speaker more. We shall not be moved, just like a tree planted by the water. We shall not be moved.
Tell Senator Berger.
All of this should have changed with the Affordable Care Act was passed, which prevents health insurance providers from refusing coverage to people like me who have pre-existing conditions. The law also raised the Medicaid eligibility level, which would have helped me afford treatment for the first time since I was diagnosed with MS. You see, I now have insurance thanks to affordable health care, but it's not affordable at all. Unfortunately, Governor Pat McCrory and the General Assembly decided to play politics instead of helping people like me to get the care we need. Their refusal to expand Medicaid means I'm out of luck and my income means I'm unable to receive the subsidy. Governor McCrory and the lawmakers could help me and 500,000 other people like me afford health care by expanding Medicaid. The money is already there, they just need to accept it. The longer they wait, the deeper people like me fall into debt. And it's not just about money. Every day, North Carolinians are dying. Let me repeat that, they are dying. Is that a good enough reason for you, Governor?
Now what we need them people from across the street to realize that we want a hand up, not a handout. We want the people across the street to realize that if we put in the work, we want our money for the work that we put in. So that's why I'm in this fight for $15. Not for me, but for the children. For the older folks who can't get Medicaid, for the home health care workers who have to go in and take care of our elderly.
It's not out of Republican order. Because they're Republicans that don't act like this crowd. It's not out of Democratic order. It's just out of order. It's constitutionally out of order.
As of the 2013 session, we're hearing a lot of talk from legislators about women's rights and safety and the protection of families. It was empty rhetoric then, and it's empty rhetoric now. Instead, we're seeing policies based on the belief that women can't be trusted to make their own decisions. Supporters of House Bill 465 say it protects a woman's choice, unless she makes a choice that they consider to be a wrong choice, and then she's forced to wait 72 hours to make a different choice.
Our governor still has refused to issue pardons to Henry McCollum and his brother Leon Brown. They were released and found innocent after doing 31 years in prison. September of 2014, they were exonerated, and yet he still refuses to give them a pardon.
Pardon them. Pardon them.
Pardon them. Brother McCollum was 19 and his brother was 15, and they received only $45 when they left prison, and they're struggling right now. They need a pardon. If I was hearing what ESPN would say when something crazy happening in sports, they would say, "Come on, man. Come on, man." So we got to look to the government and say, "Come on, man."
If legislators wouldn't have passed the tax legislation they did in 2013, which really benefited those at the top and corporations, we could have funded every single one of these agenda items that we all share today. Every single one. Because we know that it's our tax dollars, our revenue that keeps our streets safe, our water clean. This is what makes our state family and business friendly. But legislative leaders and the governor have pursued a different path. They've chained themselves to a failed ideology that we can cut our way to the bottom, give the biggest tax breaks to those at the top, and somehow magically get more by investing less. I know I'm saying something that you know, but we know they don't know it yet. And that's that a failed ideology, giving to the top, waiting for the crumbs to trickle down. It didn't work then, it doesn't work now, and it won't work for our future. This approach does not create jobs. What it does is it makes schools less equipped to educate our kids, it makes our communities less healthy, it makes businesses scared to come to a place where the roads are crumbling and we have an untrained, uneducated workforce. Yet in 2013, the legislature and governor passed these tax changes that lost our state $1 billion, $1 billion. That's the budget for our community college system right there. Woo! They chose to enact these tax cuts benefiting big corporations and the wealthy. At the same time, they eliminated the Earned Income Tax Credit, which helped almost 1 million working families keep more of what they earn. This year, they're continuing down this same dead-end road. We've seen more bills, Senate Bill 526 among them, that give corporations big breaks, creating a $7 billion hole in our state budget for the next 5 years.
In Ferguson and Baltimore have shown us that protest is a natural consequence of oppression. And unless we protest, the forces that try to keep us complacent and quiet, try to keep a raging granny quiet, right? But the forces that try to keep us quiet, those are the forces that Martin Luther King identified as racism, militarism, and capitalism will bury us alive. 2 years ago, when we heard what our legislators were proposing, we knew that something was very wrong, but they refused to meet with us, and so what could we do but protest? It was on a Moral Monday 2 years ago that 17 folks were arrested for exercising their rights to protest, and they were protesting the very things that we had protested more than 50 years before.
Many years ago, I was lied about why I went to Vietnam. And we're coming up on a 50-year anniversary, and we're going to be lied again in terms of how they retell that history, in terms of what it's about. And I've had enough lies, so I'm here to tell you I don't want to hear any more about the state legislators, how they lie to the people. They've lied to us about the non-existent need for voter ID, their phony concern about women's health care, about the financial realities of Medicaid expansion. They've lied to us about the dangers of environmental policies. It's time for some honesty here. Veterans for Peace calls for an honest search for fair and just political solutions, both here and abroad. There are better, more effective, more humane ways to move forward, and we've got to demand that those ways be found. Forward together, not one step back.
Building on the brilliance of the annual historic Thousands on Jones Street marches, together Together, all of us built a big tent politics, always welcoming new participants, new communities to the fold. And over the last 2 years, we've watched ourselves, a new group of leaders, young and elder, working together to grow public awareness about the issues that really matter to North Carolinians. We've increased voter registration and we've propelled voter turnout. Together we have deepened our love for North Carolina and for each other across all of our differences.
Walk with me, Lord. Walk with me. Walk with me, Lord. Walk with me. Why?